From the small town of Ettrick, Virginia, to the bright lights of the NFL, Rudi Johnson's story began with a dream and determination that would inspire countless others. Known as the Auburn Rambler, Johnson carved his name into college football history during his senior season at Auburn University, rushing for an incredible 1,567 yards and leading the Tigers to the SEC championship game. His 324 rushing attempts set a school record, showcasing the relentless work ethic that would define his entire career. When the Cincinnati Bengals selected Johnson in the 4th round of the 2001 NFL Draft, few could have predicted the impact this young man from Virginia would have on the franchise. After spending his first 2 seasons learning the ropes and proving his worth, Johnson exploded onto the scene in his 3rd year, rushing for 957 yards and 9 touchdowns. But this was just the beginning of what would become a legendary run in Cincinnati. Johnson's combination of power, vision, and heart made him a fan favorite almost immediately. His teammates saw something special in him, a player who never gave up, never complained, and always put the team first. Bengals president Mike Brown would later describe him as dependable and productive, but those who knew Johnson understood he was so much more than statistics on a page. The 2005 NFL season will forever be remembered as Rudi Johnson's masterpiece. At 28 years old, he was entering his prime, and everything clicked perfectly. Johnson rushed for a franchise record 1,458 yards and scored 12 touchdowns, establishing himself as one of the league's elite running backs. Game after game, Johnson punished opposing defenses with his physical running style, breaking tackles, and breaking records with equal determination. What made Johnson's 2005 campaign even more remarkable was the way he carried the entire Bengals offense on his shoulders. In an era dominated by passing attacks, Johnson proved that a committed ground game could still control the tempo and dictate the outcome of games. His 1,458 yards didn't just break the franchise record. They represented hope for a Bengals organization desperate to return to relevance. Over his 7 seasons in Cincinnati, Johnson accumulated 5,979 rushing yards and 49 touchdowns, numbers that tell only part of his story. He was the steady heartbeat of the offense, the player teammates could count on when the game was on the line. Johnson's impact went far beyond individual statistics. He helped transform the culture of an organization that had struggled for years to find its identity. His 3 1,000-yard seasons demonstrated remarkable consistency in a league where running backs often have short careers. Johnson's durability and reliability made him invaluable to the Bengals, but it was his character that made him unforgettable. While Rudi Johnson was making his mark on NFL field across the country, his biggest impact might have been happening away from the spotlight. In 2005, the same year he set the Bengals' rushing record, Johnson established the Rudi Johnson Foundation, dedicating himself to helping children and families in need through community programs and charitable initiatives. Johnson understood that his platform as an NFL player came with responsibility. He didn't just talk about giving back, he took action. The foundation focused on providing assistance to families facing hardship, supporting educational programs, and creating opportunities for young people who needed guidance and hope. For Johnson, this work wasn't about publicity or recognition. It was about using his success to make a real difference in people's lives. Those who worked with Johnson on his charitable endeavors consistently described him as genuine, compassionate, and deeply committed to helping others. He would show up to community events, spend time with kids, and never make it about himself. His foundation work continued even after his playing career ended, demonstrating that his commitment to service wasn't tied to his football success. It was simply who he was as a person. The impact of Johnson's charitable work rippled through communities long after he hung up his cleats. Children who benefited from his programs, families who received assistance during difficult times, and communities that were strengthened by his involvement all became part of his lasting legacy. This was the side of Rudi Johnson that mattered most to him. It's a reminder that true greatness extends far beyond athletic achievement. Behind the smiles, the records, and the community service Rudi Johnson was fighting a battle that remained largely invisible to the outside world. Like many former NFL players, Johnson was struggling with the long-term effects of repeated head trauma, including the potential onset of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE. This degenerative brain disease, caused by repeated concussions and subconcussive hits, has become one of the most serious health crises facing former football players. The symptoms of CTE can include memory loss, confusion, depression, anxiety, and in severe cases, suicidal thoughts. For someone like Johnson, who had dedicated his life to helping others and maintaining a positive outlook, these symptoms would have been particularly devastating. Family sources revealed that Johnson had been recently struggling with mental health issues that he could not overcome, despite his efforts to seek help and treatment. The tragedy of CTE is that it often remains undiagnosed until after death, leaving players and their families to struggle with symptoms they might not fully understand. Johnson's case highlights the urgent need for better mental health resources, more research into CTE prevention and treatment, and continued support for former players who are battling these invisible wounds. What makes Johnson's struggle even more heartbreaking is that, according to family sources, he continued trying to help others even while fighting his own demons. This selflessness, even in his darkest moments, speaks to the character that made him so beloved by teammates, friends, and community members. His battle with mental health doesn't diminish his legacy. It adds another layer of complexity to the story of a man who gave everything he had to football and to helping others. On a Tuesday morning in September 2025, the football world lost more than just a former NFL running back. It lost a beacon of hope, a champion for those in need, and a reminder of what it means to live with purpose beyond personal achievement. Rudi Johnson's death by suicide at age 45 sent shockwaves through the sports community, but it also sparked important conversations about mental health, player safety, and the true cost of playing football at the highest level. Johnson's legacy cannot be measured solely in rushing yards or touchdowns, though his 5,979 career rushing yards and 49 touchdowns certainly deserve recognition. His true impact lies in the lives he touched through his foundation work, the teammates who considered him a dear friend, and the fans who saw in him everything they loved about football: grit, determination, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. The Cincinnati Bengals organization, his former teammates, and countless community members have shared stories of Johnson's kindness, reliability, and positive impact on everyone around him. These testimonials paint a picture of a man who understood that success meant more than personal accolades. It meant using your platform to lift others up. As we remember Rudi Johnson, we must also commit to learning from his story. His struggles with mental health and the potential effects of CTE represent a call to action for the NFL, for former players, and for society as a whole. We must do better in supporting those who sacrifice their bodies and minds for our entertainment. And we must never forget that behind every athlete is a human being deserving of compassion, understanding, and support. Rudi Johnson's final message was simple but profound: never give up. Even in our grief, we can honor his memory by embracing that message and working to ensure that other players receive the help and support they need to live full, healthy lives long after their playing careers end.